Share this link here.
Is this a Sheball?
That's actually bigger than a Sheball, but
This
Sam
is
will have
bigger?
to. Yeah.
That's gotta be so finessed.
All right. Some people, who knows if they're internet, if you're subscribed, that's what you really needed to do. Subscribe to the channel. Just got to figure out. Oh, there we go. There we go. The link has been sent. Okay. Can we see if anybody's live? Join on your phone just to see here. If we're live. I gotta pull out my notes here.
It's live.
Okay. You must be the one person that's showing up here. You got the link though, right?
I didn't see it.
On your text thread? No?
Bro, this text thread is scuffed because I've got like 4 different text threads.
But did you at least get it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, I got the.
You got the link.
The link to Sheball YouTube, not to the live.
Oh.
Oh wait, there it is.
Oh, looks like we got somebody else on board here. We're waiting for a few more to trickle in for me to finish up some of my notes here. The reality is I had great mics set up, leaving the cushy studio you've been seeing me coming from, but the shed, we haven't retrofitted it with all the latest tech, but we are coming to you live from the shed. Finishing up a few notes here in studio, we do have one of the players, Michael McVicker. He's getting a few hoops in the background. You may be able to see the rim of the shed. One of Michael's questions was, were we going to get some of the clutter moved out of the shed before tourney time? And the answer is yes, we will. And it may be on the backs of some of you that signed up for the free membership under the code SWEATY, indicating that you were willing to work for it. Lighting. There we go. We're getting a little better. All right, a few last notes here because I have needed to finalize the final contracts. Just started getting inked. You guys are going to be happy to see how this all landed. So give me just a moment, and we will unveil the pairings. This selection show is brought to you by Churchill Mortgage. Michael, would you like to talk about Churchill Mortgage?
Churchill Mortgage, where we're here to do the best for you and your family, bringing clarity and peace of mind to the home buying process. My name is Michael McVicker. You can reach out to me at 515-509-0543.
Churchill Mortgage is the only mortgage company that we trust here at Sheball. All right. I just have to finish this up. He got signed there. He got signed there. He got signed there. He got signed there. He got signed here. Okay. For that amount. We are just about ready to launch here. This is the very first ever Sheball live stream, and you can understand That's no surprise. Okay, so we have these two here. We have those two there, those two there, those two there. If you're keeping notes at home, please let me know if we've missed anything. But I think we are in good shape here. All right, we are ready to roll. Michael, how do I look? Can you hear me? Can you hear me on the live stream? I don't know if you guys are able to chat in. I want to know, is Sheball Nation here? Are we ready to get rolling? All right, so something you may not know is that something that's new in Sheball this year is that there are 6 new franchises. Now, you probably have seen these franchises. We've got the Grounders, we've got the Shed Rats, we've got the 2010ers, the Maplewooders, the Mystique, and the Road Trippers. And these franchises have been, they're owned by the league right now. You might see they are able to be purchased, $50,000 per franchise. You can purchase these franchises, but right now they're all owned by the league. And what you need to understand is that the league has, in order to keep the spirit of competitiveness across the board, the league has appointed a general manager to steward each franchise. So you may know some of these names. Sam Whalen, the winningest Sheball player ever. He is the general manager for the Grounders. Anthony Calabeo also won a championship in his day with Peter Kay. He is the general manager of the Shed Rats. Rob Eberle, a Sheball legend. He used to be the Secretary of Stats. He's the one that really set the foundation for how we take stats in Sheball. He is the general manager for the 2010ers. Kyle Velker, an absolute Sheball legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Velker. He is the general manager for the Maplewooders. Kyle Lehman is the only one of the crew that has not played Sheball. But I do guarantee you this, and I'll look right into the camera and say this. Kyle Lehman has the Sheball mystique. There's an office game that we have at Cornerstone using a tiny little foam football. And Kyle is the president and chairman of that association. So you can be assured that he does have the Sheball mystique. He is heading up the Mystique, which is one of the franchises in Sheball. And then the last franchise, the Road Trippers, they are headed up by Bobby Sylvester. Also, long-time Sheball legend. I mean, we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of Sheball here. So people noticed, there was a comment, a thread between the general managers today, and they said, Peter Kay really should be on the Mount Rushmore also. I agree. Unfortunately, I have lost touch with Peter Kay. Peter, if you're watching, please contact me. We have to talk. Okay, so we've done a lot of build up here, but it is time to unveil the team. Now, I talked about the franchises. You also need to realize that there are contracts. These general managers have signed players to their teams. Okay, they have signed players to the teams, and they have come with real contracts. Okay, you might hear in professional sports, a 1-year, $7.2 million contract or something like that. In Sheball, it's going to sound something like this. 1 season, $7.2 contract, not million, $7.2 contract. You players are actually getting signed to play for these franchises. So as you hear the amounts, Sheball, which unfortunately continues its tradition of losing money, is actually going to pay you as players to participate in the tournament. So everybody knows that the man with the target on his back is Grant Holbein. Out here, the general managers were fighting and clawing over this man, and he actually got signed to the Grounders at a $10 one-season contract. He will be a grounder for the Ice Bowl. He is going to be joined on that team by Hudson Beals. And Hudson is actually getting a penny contract. Okay? He's getting a penny contract. He is getting 1 cent. People might say, well, is there going to be bad blood in the locker room? Grant Holbein getting the entire contract and Hudson Beal sitting there with a penny. I don't know how that dynamic is going to go in the locker room. Hudson's a pretty humble guy. And if he can walk into the tournament with humility and play to the strengths of the star that everybody's been talking about, they could be a real team to contend with in this tournament. The next team that I want to break down is the Shed Rats. This team has the biggest fan base of all the Shedball franchises to date. Fans like Kevin McKelvey and several others. I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're a Shed Rats fan and I didn't mention you. But the Shed Rats, they're run right now with a general manager, Anthony Calabeo. And this team is fascinating. Now, we have some contracts. Owen Vanderway was signed to the Shed Rats on a $3.1 contract for one season. But controversially, the Shed Rats also signed another Vanderway. They signed Henry Vanderway, get this, for a $5.9 contract. And news outlets are they're confused, to say the least. The question is this going to tear the brothers apart, or are they going to come together? Anthony Calabeo was on record saying what he's trying to do here is he's trying to recreate a little Velker magic. For those of you that don't know, the Velker brothers, when they teamed up on a Shedball team, actually brought home the title. If the Vanderways are able to do that in this tournament, they will win a franchise. I'm guessing they would own the Shed Rats because, again, these records are going to stay with the franchises. But this team is unique because in the last minute, there were contracts being thrown around, negotiations happening, and the Shed Rats signed a third player. This player is going to be coming off the bench, is going to be playing a certain role on this team. They're going to have to work it out. They're going to have to figure it out. We actually have 13 Shed Ballers that are going to be playing in this tournament. And Jack Loring was signed for a $1 one-season contract to the Shed Rats. So the Shed Rats are going to have Owen Vanderway, Henry Vanderway, and Jack Loring, and they're going to be competing for a title. The next team that we're going to talk about is the 2010ers, and this is headed up by Rob Eberle. Rob has a very, very interesting team. He's signed two players. The first is Sam Simon. Sam Simon was signed to a one-season, $4.1 contract, and he is going to be joined by really someone that we've dubbed an ambassador for Shedball in this Lansing area, and that's Isaac McKelvey. And he is signed to a one-season, $3.1 contract with the 2010ers. Again, the 2010ers commemorating the first year that Shedball ran a tournament. We've completed half of the reveal so far. I would love to hear feedback. I'd love to see comments going here. I know somebody's written in so far. I think Sam Whalen just said he loves Shedball. But I want to hear what you guys are talking about as you're watching this unveil. The next franchise we're going to look at is the Maplewooders. Now, the Maplewooders also have a very interesting story. Kyle Velker is their general manager. And they were one of the teams that was competing for Grant Holbein. But Coach Velker, am I losing some steam here? Or am I coming through? Are people even able to hear me here? Looks like my time is kind of glitching a little bit. Okay, so they have two players that they have signed. Ben Simmons for a $4.1 one-season contract, and Ethan Hull for another penny contract. And this is how they got that done. Ethan Hull was being courted by some other general managers. But before the tournament started, Ethan Hull let his agent know that he was indeed interested in signing with the Maplewooders. It's the only franchise he wanted to play for, and his agent said he was willing to take a pay cut in order to play for the Maplewooders. So the Maplewooders are ending this signing period with some salary cap remaining, and we don't even know yet how that's going to impact this dynamic. But what I do know is that we've got Ben Simmons and Ethan Hull on the Maplewooders, which makes a very interesting combination. Ben Simmons, great guard play, great shooter. Ethan Hull getting it done in the post. He's the youngest player, but he has size, he has athleticism, and he has what it takes to compete in the post with the big boys. So watch out for the Maplewooders. The next franchise we'll talk about is the Mystique, and they are led by Kyle Lehman. Now, Kyle Lehman, very early on, sought to sign Michael McVicker. But you need to realize that he did not sign Michael McVicker. Michael McVicker went ahead and signed with the Road Trippers with Bobby Sylvester. Michael signed with the Road Trippers for a $6.6 one-season contract, which was better than what Kyle was able to offer. So, makes sense. I mean, you're going to hear backstory on Michael, but he comes from the plains of Iowa and came up here a couple years ago to get ready to play in the Sheball tournament. And so you're going to need to keep an eye on him. But Kyle Lehman did not sign Michael McVicker. Instead, he signed Drew Hall, coming from Grand Rapids on the day of the Ice Bowl, to a $4.1 one-season contract. And he will be joined by Donovan Minar, who will also be playing on contract. He's going to have a $5.9 one-season contract, and he's going to be playing with the Mystique. So Drew Hall and Donovan Minar are playing for the Mystique. And you already heard that Bobby Sylvester signed Michael McVicker, and he also signed Sam DeGoffo. Sam DeGoffo, we aren't sure what to make of him this tournament. I mean, he certainly is competitive. He's going to play defense. Does he have the best shot in the game? We don't think so. But the question is, will he be able to work as a teammate with Michael? It's one of the most experienced teams. If we're looking at age, not experience in Sheball, they haven't played before. But we have to realize that Michael and Sam are one of the oldest teams that are going to be competing here. And so you need to watch to see how that age advantage is going to play out in the dynamics here. So the field is set. This is your 6-team Sheball field for the Ice Bowl. You can go to playsheball.com. You can see the regular season schedule. For those of you that don't know, the regular season is going to compose of 3 games per team. And at the end of those 3 games, we're going to have standings. There's going to be a tiebreaker for point differential, but the top 4 teams are going to advance to a single elimination tournament, which will take place right after those regular season games. You see that those games are scheduled to be on Shed TV, Shed Plus, Shed TV Plus, and Shed TV 2. We'll see if we can improve the streaming experience from what you're getting right now, because right now it's a little spotty. But ladies and gentlemen, Sheball's just cooking up. Let the rumor mill begin. I want to hear chatter. I want to see some trash talk going on. Sheball, the Ice Bowl, is just over a week away. Thank you and good night.